Hello world, welcome to my video. To commemorate the upcoming Good Friday and Easter Sunday, for this video, I'll be sharing with you the Bible on Jesus coming from heaven to earth and relating to it the concept of type conversion and casting in programming. Before we begin, if you are new to my video, I would like to mention that this is the Visual Studio 2022 Integrated Development Environment where I will write and build my example console program for this video with C#10. For starters, I have two verses that I would like to share with you today. They would serve as the anchor for today's episode. John chapter 1 verse 14 reads, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth." Philippians chapter 2 verses 6 to 8. It reads, "Who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross." From these Bible passages, we are told of how Jesus, being in the nature of God, surrendered his divinity to take on flesh, so he could be like us, among us, to do what we can never do in righteousness, to humble himself as a sacrifice for us, in obedience even to death. This is so that we can have a chance at redemption before God. And as I meditate on these passages, it came to mind that what Jesus did for us is parallel to a casting move for type conversion in programming, where in order for a higher type order to be converted to a lower type order, a casting needs to be done, and it comes with a sacrifice in precision point. To show you this, I will demonstrate to you how a type conversion is done and why casting is needed for explicit conversion in today's episode. Okay, so first things first, I will build up the logic for today's program. I have two sections drawn up here, one for implicit conversion of data types and one for explicit conversion of data types where casting is needed. In the implicit conversion section, I will be making assignment of the variable d to different data types. I am able to do this because of implicit conversion that does not involve a loss of data. To make the result evident, I will do a print line to the console screen to which you can see when I run the program. Now in the explicit conversion section, a good example of this is when we try to force a double data type to an integer data type. To show you this, I will create a double and I will try to assign to it a variable of integer data type. As you can see, we ran into an error that tells us we need to do casting. To comply with this, I will do a casting here by specifying the data type I am going to force my double into. And this will cost me my precision point and I will lose the decimal figures. To show you the result, I will do a print line here. Now I will run the program so you can see the results. As you can see from the console screen, I have the explicit conversion section which is fine, and I have the explicit conversion section which as one, even if casting allows me to do an explicit type conversion, I lose my precision points as a result. To summarize this video, we have an introduction to what type conversion is and how casting is made in programming. If we do an explicit type conversion with casting, we make a sacrifice in the loss of data. Drawing parallel to this, Jesus, of a higher being than man, had to give up all that he is and all that he had in heaven to trade in his divinity for flesh to be like man and dwell among men. Try asking a billionaire living in a mansion with no lacking in material and comfort to trade place with a beggar with no roof to call his own, at the mercy of the world. This, my friends, tells us just how much Jesus loves us. How many of us are willing to give up everything that we have, even our very own life, for the benefit of others, when the very people will not do the same back? If this has touched your heart as a non-believer, come to know Jesus. Feast on the bread of life, broken for us sinners, and drink from the cup of everlasting promises. With that, we have come to the end of the segment. I hope you have learned something from this video, be it programming or the Bible. Thanks for watching and hope to see you again next time. God bless.